Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going through every single book on my physical TBR. I did this video last March or April, I think. And how many books? Let me see. Oh my god. Let me fix the lighting. Check the fit. Cute, right? I got these pants from the Skims Valentine's Day drop and haven't taken them off. It's a little better. Anyways, what I was saying before I rudely threw my phone is that I did this video almost a year ago and I have no idea how many books were on my TBR at that point, so I'm gonna check. Whew, I'm out of breath. Isn't she lovely? I hate watching my old videos. But anyways, I had 43 books on my physical TBR last time. This time, let's count and see how many it is. I feel like it's gonna be around that same number, honestly. 44, 45, 46, 47. Pretty close. I figured it would be around the same amount because back when I did that video, I had my books in stacks on the floor, and now I have my books in stacks on the floor. So the sad part is that some of the books in that video are still on my physical TBR. I'm just kind of gonna explain a little bit about the books and then maybe like why they're still on my physical TBR. Some of them, like, I have reasons, others I don't. We're kind of just gonna go through it. Today is, I don't even know what date it is. Today's Wednesday and it is like pouring rain outside and I've had my window open all morning. Just been listening to the sound of the rain and it has been fantastic. It's a good morning. Well, it's not morning anymore, it's 1 p.m. Kind of slept until 11, but we're not gonna talk about it. But anyways, it's been a good early afternoon. So we're gonna keep the vibes high with a TBR video. I'm definitely like in a mood right now. Like I feel like I'm in a weird mood. I am going to stop rambling and get started. I'm gonna do this in no particular order. Like I said, the books are in stacks, so I'm just gonna pick them up and go through them. The first book I have, I actually got like 2 days ago from Target, and I have never heard anything about it. And I don't normally do this. Oh my gosh, let me take the sticker off. I hate that. I don't normally buy books where I don't know anything about them because I'm definitely like more of a follower than a leader when it comes to my book habits. I like to pick up books that I know are like super widely loved because I don't want to, I don't know, not waste my time. I don't ever think reading a book is a waste of time, but for lack of better words, I don't want to waste my time reading a book that I think might be bad. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean when I say that. But anyways, I had never seen anything about this book, but I got it because it's pink and I have been on the biggest pink kick ever. My entire room is pink and I have just revolved my life around the color pink recently. I saw this book in Target and I really liked the cover. It's just like black and white and then pink. It was so cute. So I got it, obviously. This book is about two friends, well, I guess 3 friends, and they went to Greece and then one of them dies, and this was 10 years ago. The 2 friends were cleared from having any involvement in the 3rd friend's death. The media totally tore them apart, and now 10 years later they've done completely different things with their lives. One of them is like a very famous motivational speaker, and then the other one has kind of closed her life off from press and anything else, and she lives more of like a secluded lifestyle. Now one of them needs a favor from the other. This just sounds like it's gonna be like a good read, and it's not too long. I have been more like in this genre, true crime, murder mystery, that kind of stuff, not so much romance. The next book I have is By a Thread by Lucy Score. I've said this before, but I've never read a Lucy Score book and I'm really excited to. This is the only Lucy Score book I have. This is like a workplace romance and it's like a grumpy boss trope, which sounds so good, and it's a rom-com. I love a good rom-com. Like if I'm reading a romance book, I want it to be a rom-com. It is so long and that's why I've been putting this off. I want to get to it eventually. The next book I have is another recent buy and I'm so excited to read this, and that's Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is more in the genre of self-help and it's about how to rebuild your habits basically. And this is definitely a book I want to pick up soon. I don't know if this is one of those books where I'll read like in one sitting or maybe just do a little bit at a time. Probably annotate it and like actually take elements of it and try and implement it into my daily life. Oh my gosh, who keeps texting me? Leave me alone. The next book I have is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. This seems more like a dystopian book. It says it's a YA thriller, but it doesn't sound very thriller-esque. Maybe it is, I don't know. I've heard a lot of mixed feelings about this book. Like, it gives people the ick because it's like about a society where women are like banished to go and purify themselves so that when they come back they're ready for marriage. So like, I can see why people might not like it, but it is YA. It's on my TBR for this month. So this is a book that I'll probably be reading soon. The next book I have is also a recent buy, and that is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This one I am so beyond excited to read. I just want to wait until I'm in like the perfect mood, because sometimes like my mood can ruin a book, and this is a book I don't want to be ruined. This is the second in the Divine Rivals series, which if you don't know what that's about, it's like a historical fantasy where a girl's brother goes to war and she's writing to him on a magical typewriter, and he's not the one receiving the letters, someone else is. They're writing her back, and she has kind of like a little romance pen pal, and it is so cute. I absolutely love Divine Rivals, so I'm so excited to pick this one up soon, and I'm hoping it's soon. The next book I have is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This one is another book I've got recently, obviously because it just came out. I think I got this book for Christmas. I could be wrong. But this book is Ali Hazelwood's first YA romance, which is kind of exciting. I'm interested to see like a different genre from her and see how it compares to some of her other books. This is obviously about two chess players. I don't entirely understand the plot when I read the back, so I'm not going to explain it. The next book I have is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the second in the Maple U series, I'm pretty sure it's called. Could be wrong. This is about two people, and they're in college and they go to an end of the year kind of college party, and they have a one-night stand, and then they're both camp counselors at the same camp. This is also another more recent book that I got. I've been waiting to read this one because I want to read it like towards the summer more, at least when I'm missing summer, because summer camp vibes are so good and I just feel like this would be the perfect summer read. Next I have Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I love Frida McFadden's books. They are so fast-paced and exciting. This is a thriller, obviously. I feel like you can just tell by the cover. But this is about a married couple, and they're going to find their perfect home. And so they visit this mansion, and then they get snowed in, and they cannot leave. The house that they're going to look at is like a psychiatrist's house, and he disappeared like 4 years prior. So it's like spooky. It looks good. I'm excited. I think that one's on my TBR. I don't know. I have my TBR video. I'll link it above if you want to go watch that. It was kind of a fun little TBR jar ones. The next book I have is Twin Crowns. This is a YA fantasy. This one I've been putting off because it's kind of long and I haven't necessarily been in like the fantasy mood. This is about two princesses and one throne. What's gonna happen? I haven't heard like a lot about this book. Like, I don't know too much about the actual plot and what happens in the book, which is kind of like how I would like to keep it. I like going in my books blind, so I'll get to this one eventually. The next book I have is Mad Honey, and my old coworker recommended me this book. She told me you should read it when you're in a good headspace. So I'm putting it off for a bit. I've been thinking about doing a video where I read only sad books for a week because I've seen people do that. I have so many sad books that I've been putting them off because they're sad books, but I feel like just gotta do it, you know? Rip the band-aid off, get it over with, and do it. Be on the lookout for that. Maybe I'll do that soon. People in my comments have been saying how much they really liked it, and it's motivating me. Like, it's making me want to read it. The next two books I have are part of the ACOTAR series, the novella, and then this big boy. These ones I have been putting off because this series hasn't been my favorite. I loved ACOTAR, and then the other ones I listened to an audiobook, and that ruined my experience. But I do want to read Throne of Glass this year, so I need to get to these soon because I want to finish them before I start Throne of Glass. And Throne of Glass, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read it physically, not doing an audiobook for that series. The next book I have is The Mystery Guest. One of you guys told me that this is actually the second in a series. I got this one for Christmas. I didn't know it was the second in a series, so I need to pick up the first one before I can read this, obviously. The next book I have is called Half Broke Horses. I have no idea what this is about. It's a true life novel, it says on the front. My mom gave this to me because I think she read it for her book club and then she wanted me to read it. So I will at some point, because when someone gives me books to read, like, I feel like I have to read them. Like, I owe it to them to give them my time and my opinion. It would probably do me some good to figure out what it's about. So if it's something I'm interested in, I can read it sooner, obviously, but I'm too lazy to read the back. The backs of books never do it for me. They never summarize it in a way where I like understand what it's about. The next book I have is Love Light Farms by B.K. Borson, and this is a book I'm so excited to read. I got this for Christmas, which obviously by then the Christmas season is kind of already over, and this is more of like a Christmassy book. Like, it has Christmas elements, but it's not like a Christmas book. So I kind of want to read it more towards the holidays, maybe like the fall. I have heard so many good things about this book, and then also like this series. I feel like this book will live up to its potential if I read it in the right season. Next, The 7-Year Slip. I've been putting it off for no reason at all. I don't have a reason for not reading this. I've heard so many good things about this book. So many people that I really trust their opinions have rated this 5 stars. I don't know why I've been putting it off, but it's basically about a girl who lives in this apartment, and it's kind of like, how do you even describe it? It's like in a time thing. The apartment like slips between times, I guess. I don't know. If someone can describe this book better, let me know. That's what I'm getting from it, but I've heard so many good things. And I think this is the same author as The Dead Romantics, which I haven't read, but if I like this one, I definitely would consider reading it. Delish. I redid my eyelashes this morning because I cried them all off last night, and I went longer. Normally I do the shorter ones. I did the longer ones today because I'm almost out of short ones. Kind of fun, right? Like, might just fly away. The next book I have is Never by Jessa Hastings. This is like kind of a Peter Pan retelling, so I've been putting this off because I want to watch Peter Pan before I read it because I've never seen it. Like, if you were to list any movie, I probably haven't seen it because I cannot sit still. But I'm gonna force myself to do it to like prepare myself for this book. This is the same author as Magnolia Park's favorite series in the world, so I'm so excited to read it. I have Magnolia Park's Into the Dark coming on, okay, not what I'm gonna watch right now, coming on the 13th, which is in too many days, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. The next book I have is The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I have been putting this book off for absolutely no reason. It's actually one I really want to get to soon, but because Never Lie is already on my TBR for the month, I've like been waiting. This book is basically about a new nurse practitioner, and she's working at a men's maximum security prison. One of the dudes in prison, she is the reason why he's there. Like, she put him in prison. It just sounds so good and like so creepy. Next is Final Offer by Lauren Asher, and boy, is that a brick. Like, if I were ever to build a house, I think I would just build it out of this book alone, and it would like withstand anything because this book is dense, which is one of the reasons why I have been putting it off. But also, this is the 3rd in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and I don't like that series. I just can't. Lauren Asher's writing is a little too cringy. Oh my god, it's a little too cringy for me. Just like also the way this book is. Like, this is not a floppy book, and books that aren't floppy, like, I'm sure that just triggered so many people. I just don't like these kind of books. Like, this is, no. The next book I have is The Summer Girl by Elle Kennedy. This is the 3rd in like a little interconnected standalone series. The first was Good Girl Complex and then Bad Girl Reputation. I actually really enjoyed both of those. It's about a little friend group who lives in like a coastal town, and they're going to college. Well, some of them are. But I really am enjoying this series because I love the friend group, and it's just so fun to read about, I guess. This is another book that I feel like I'm saving for the summer. The next 2 are Arch Enemies and Supernova. This is like a little YA dystopian series, basically about superheroes, which is so cool. I love superheroes. I'm obsessed with Marvel, so this is like right up my alley. But the first one was not a book I was expecting to like, and I read it and absolutely loved it, and I'm so excited to get back in this world. The next few books have definitely been on my TBR since the last time I filmed this, and it's the Red Queen series. I did read the first one and it was very meh. Like, I didn't love it, and I've seen so many people say it's not worth it to continue the series, and I don't know what to do. Like, I want to continue it just because I own them, and I want to be able to say I at least gave them a try. Next is another book I've been putting off for a while, A Little Life I have been putting this one off for quite a while because I'm not ready to commit to it yet. I know that when I read this book, I want to annotate the crap out of it and I want to be fully committed. And this is a book that, if I'm being honest, I'm scared to read. I have heard that it has basically every single trigger warning that there is. And I know this book is literally going to tear me apart, rip my heart out, and put it in a blender. And I feel like people have been doing that to me in real life recently anyways. So I don't know if I'm ready for more heartache. Like, I don't even think I can handle it. So we're gonna wait. This is gonna be a lot to take in. Similar to that, I have 3 books that I have been putting off, and that is Every Last Word, Darling Venom, and If He Had Been With Me. Just because these are books that I know are so sad. Like, I know these are good books. I'm just scared. Another one similar to that is The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. I have heard people say that this book is so sad and like tears them apart, but it's so good. So I've been wanting to read it because like I've heard so many good things, but can I handle it right now? No. So that's why I've been putting it off. Next, we have a book that I am so excited to read, and that's Hot House Flower by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the 5th in the Addicted Calloway series, and it is Daisy and Reich's point of view. Is that how you say his name? That's why I say it in my head. And I am so freaking excited. I love Daisy so far, and I'm excited for this new chapter of her life that she's going into. It's so weird that we can get so attached to these characters, but I'm so attached to these characters. The next book I have is The Brazen, which is the Calamity Montana series, but this is the 3rd, and this is the only book I have. Next, we have The Gunkle. It's basically about Patrick, who is an uncle, and then tragedy strikes, and he has to basically take his niece and nephew into his care, and he has no idea how to deal with children. The next book I have is Once Upon a December. This book I've been putting off because I want to read it around the Christmas time. This one's gonna have to wait another year. Same with A Merry Little Meet Cute. I just didn't get to them this year. Next, I have Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. This one I'm pretty sure is like more of a dark romance. I don't know, I'm interested to read it because I've never read a book by Colleen Hoover and another author. I just have not really been into coho recently. I feel like I'm kind of out of that phase in my reading life. Maybe I'll get back into it. Maybe I'll just force myself to read this. On that same note, I have Losing Hope, Finding Perfect, and Hopeless, all by Coho. I've been putting these ones off because I want to read them when I have all of them. Like, I want to get the something Cinderella, I forget what it's called. I want to have all of them before I start it. I don't know why my brain does that, but it does. Next is Maybe Meant to Be by K.L. Walther. I read the back of it like a few months ago, and it honestly didn't sound that great to me. And the last K.L. Walther book I read, What Happens After Midnight, I didn't like. Like, it was slightly painful to push through it because it was so YA and cringy. Then we have The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This book's actually on my TBR for the month. This book sounds so good. It's about a woman named Evelyn, and she goes to a ball and she is murdered. And then Aiden, another character, wakes up in all the guests' bodies every single day until he figures out who her murderer is. And that just sounds so good to me. Then I have Leigh Howard and the Ghosts of Simmons Pierce Manor. I got this book because I saw a TikTok of the author and he was like signing books at Barnes & Noble and no one was coming up to him, and it broke my heart. So I wanted to get the book to support him. I just haven't read it yet because I wanted to read it in like the fall, kind of October, September, Halloween season, and I ended up reading a whole bunch of other books, but I do want to get to this eventually. I'll probably read it this fall season. This is similar to the Christmas books I was just talking about. There's Something About Mary by Cody Hall. These books are so long. They're like almost 400 pages. For a holiday book, that is way too long, but I think I will pick it up next holiday season. Then I have Didn't See That Coming by Jessica Sutanto. This is another book that I'm pretty sure is on my TBR for this month. Genuinely, I have no idea. That book is about a girl gamer, which is like different for me in terms of genre or like subgenre, because it's still like a YA romance. Then I have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. She is so big, over 600 pages. Why have I been putting this off? I don't know, it's just so big I'm intimidated, and the writing is really small. I will read this soon because I did love that book and that world and those characters, so I'm excited to get back into them. Then I have Lily and the Octopus. This is also by Stephen Rowley. This is another book where I've heard it's sad. Okay, I need to stop buying sad books. I buy them and then I just don't even end up reading them. Maybe that's one of my problems. And then the last book I have is Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. The reason why I haven't read this book is so dumb and I'm almost scared to admit it, but it's because I wanted the other cover. I ordered this on, I don't remember the website. It was some like discounted book website. It's like a really popular one. I forget what it's called, but I'm pretty sure like it had a picture of the other cover when I was ordering it, and I like that cover so much more. This book is literally giant. Like it's the size of like a textbook. I was also under the impression that I was getting the other cover, which is so cute. I'm gonna buy that cover at some point. I just haven't because I'd rather buy a book I don't have than like buy a second copy of a book I already do have. I don't even know what it's about, but it's by Dolly Alderton and I really enjoy her books. Those are all the books on my physical TBR. I am proud to say that my physical TBR isn't so big. Obviously, I wish it was bigger because that means I would have more books, but it is nice having like a smaller selection to choose from just because I think I would feel overwhelmed if my physical TBR was too big. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Anything you do helps me out so much and I really appreciate it, and I love you guys. Thanks for sticking around. It means a lot to me. I'll see you guys so soon in my next one.